Moscow, Russia.
Is Israel a new obsession, or did the online right just steal the left's tactics? Join me as we discover just how the left became part of the right, and that starts with Russiagate. In 2016, career intelligence professionals, people who had genuinely spent their lives fighting America's enemies, became convinced that a foreign power had compromised the incoming president. They had data points, real ones. Trump had business dealings in Moscow. He said nice things about Putin on camera. People in his orbit had meetings with Russian nationals. A dossier appeared with salacious claims. Each data point was individually a data point, but they were looking for Russia, so they found Russia everywhere. They were so certain that they were right, they leaked to the press. They used classification authority to spy on American citizens. They presented unverified opposition research to FISA court as intelligence. Peter Strzok texted about insurance policies. Andrew McCabe authorized leaks. They were experienced professionals who genuinely believed the public was in danger. The server's records were real, their concern was sincere, and they were wrong. This is part of what is happening right now on the right. Many people, perhaps even well-intentioned people, who might even have a service record in the military or a history of working for the government and a good track record, have seen things here and there to make them think, Israel must be controlling the President of the United States. And instead of understanding what's actually going on in the world, understanding global politics, and getting a grasp on how things are in the world, they seek out simplistic explanations. And once they find such an explanation, they grab a hold of it and never let go. And that brings me to today. A growing segment of the online right are driven by disillusionment and a deep suspicion of established power, and now they found a new hidden hand to explain world events. Israel. Just like Russiagate, this obsession requires the same amount of sparse evidence, such as public statements by politicians.
I'm not with you, I'm with Israel. I will be with Israel to our dying day.
Okay, to be fair, Lindsey Graham really needs to be quiet sometimes. Lobbying efforts, certain business connections, or even the infamous USS Liberty incident, which, no matter how many times that has been proven to have been an accident, we keep having to talk about it.
Why, therefore, did you call irrelevant the Israeli attack in 1967 on the USS Liberty, which left dozens of American servicemen dead and hundreds wounded?
But now, instead of the media driving it, instead of Rachel Maddow coming on at any hour of the day, I don't know when her show was, and ramming down her viewers' throat that everything was about Vladimir Putin and Russia, or instead of even the deep state going after Donald Trump and doing everything they can to stop Donald Trump from winning, or to hamper him after he got in office. The new engine accelerating this obsession is social media itself. Now, as I did mention in a previous video, these platforms are designed for one thing and one thing only: engagement. And what's more engaging than pure outrage? But unfortunately, this does create a self-fulfilling prophecy, because when comment sections of completely unrelated posts are flooded with complaints about Israel, it creates the illusion of consensus or finality. You might be posting about some meal you had that day that you thought was really nice. I had tortellini soup this evening. It was very tasty. Send. And within an hour, some person decides to say that, oh, people in Gaza aren't eating, how dare you, this is selfish. Now the entire comment section is talking about Israel. Congrats. And then take into account thousands of networks of fake accounts and bots that work to artificially inflate the anti-Israel discourse. It makes this obsession seem even larger than it really is.
Over half of the viral posts, over 1,000 viral English language posts about the war in Iran between February 28th and March 13th, over half of these posts, 559 of them, originated outside of the United States. And among the top 100 most viral posts, 40 came from foreign sources. So 40% of what you're seeing is from outside the United States. And they're not fringe posts, okay? Each one had at least 2,500 shares. 72% of them were negative. Only 27 were positive, 27%. The rest are neutral. But when you isolate the foreign posts, that's when it becomes distorted. Only 10% were positive, 64% were negative. The rest were just noise. These 559 foreign origin posts generated over 650 million views, nearly 22 million interactions. That's not a conversation. That's saturation.
And there are a lot of people who just always want to join the winning side. Whatever the in thing is, they want to be part of it. So social media inevitably just becomes an avalanche of false information and conspiracies. Not to mention people from Pakistan, Nigeria, and India are constantly ready to jump into threads on social media and complain about the United States and Israel. Seriously, region blocking cannot come fast enough. I remember when X first turned on the ability to see where people were coming from. There were so many of them that had Christ is King, America First Patriot, and U.S. Veteran all in their bios, and very few of them were American accounts. But what surprises me is that was even a surprise in the first place. I mean, you're on the internet with, 5 billion people? Of course, many of them are going to be trying to influence American policy, especially if there's any kind of conflict going on overseas. But no, because we were lied to about the WMDs in Iraq, we all know that only the American government engages in propaganda. Nope, no one else does. No other country, no other nation, no other government. Only America bad.
Thanks, I hate it.
So why does this happen in the first place? In my opinion, it comes down to a desire for simple explanations in the world that is just too complex for some people. Not everyone was meant to be constantly online. Not everyone was meant to have a massive amount of information and be able to parse through it and realize what's true and what isn't. Adam and Eve in the garden weren't imagining they would hit the age of information and be able to, at the click of a button, find out anything that's going on in the world in real time. And being able to do so has a lot of side effects. In fact, post-COVID, many wanted something to explain how so many institutions just bow the knee instantly to federal and local governments. It was too simple to take at face value. The idea that perhaps China has some outsized influence in organizations like the WHO.
Will the WHO consider Taiwan's membership? Hello?
I'm sorry, I can't hear. I couldn't hear your question.
Okay, yeah. Let me repeat the question.
No, that's okay. Let's move to another one then.
Right, because I'm actually curious on talking about Taiwan as well, on Taiwan's case.
Or perhaps maybe left-leaning institutions are just waiting to jump at the chance to exercise that power to clamp down on the American public. No. That's too simple. That doesn't explain how everything just fell into place. No, it has to be something greater than that, and somehow more simplistic. Instead, they wanted to believe that they had uncovered hidden plots all over the world perpetrated by the United States government and Israel. The ultimate unfalsifiable combination of powerful Western powers. Besides, you can't prove Jeffrey Epstein wasn't Mossad. You can't prove that Trump isn't controlled by Israel. So if the government doesn't want to release the Epstein files, bam! Israel. Thanks, Netanyahu. War with Iran? Israel. Buying a branch of TikTok? Israel. I stubbed my toe this morning? Israel. Everything becomes instant proof of the conspiracy. The noticer now begins to see their chosen enemy everywhere because, frankly, that's all they're looking for. And as I said earlier, social media algorithms are more than happy to double down and give them exactly what they want to see. Russia? Oh, no. That's old news. It's Putin! Now, ultimately, whether Vladimir Putin is controlling the world or Mossad is pulling the strings behind every world leader, either mindset reveals a flawed way of viewing things. The real issue is how many people start with the conclusion that they want to believe in, and they force the world to fit their assumptions. And something to take away from this is that often when I encounter people like this, I won't even engage. Not because I don't want to try to change their minds, but rather I know it's borderline impossible to do so. Something has to shake them out of their mindset. They have to be willing to believe something different. Critical thinking is both a skill and a choice. A person, when they're young, should be taught to think critically, but whether or not they actually do so is entirely their choice. And a person who seeks a singular conclusion and explanation for everything that happens in the world, the just noticers, they're no better than someone who votes based on bumper sticker sloganeering. Don't be that person. If you pause for a second and just be willing to disregard whatever your knee-jerk reactions or assumptions are, you might just be able to find that there are other reasons why the world is the way it is. This is our duty as free citizens of this country. So let's not toss it away on something so idle and so vain as a lie. But anyway, those are just my thoughts. Let me know what kind of content you want to see. Do you like the new backgrounds, the new effects? Are my recent videos in a direction you aren't interested in? Or should I just double down and tough it out in the algorithm? Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and I'll see you again next time. Bye!